And now we go to Mr. Giovanni Battisti from United Kingdom. Do you agree with the fact that racism is just an illusion and psychological damage for Black ethnicity to sense that it doesn't exist? I will be giving you one example. Just get this incident that has happened in the United States. If it happens, the two incidents at the same time, that white person kneel and kills a white person in the same way the white person has killed a black person. Do you think that killings of white person against white person could rise up and voice up the way that it has been done in opposite way, whereby the white person has killed a black person? What do effects we have, especially black people, on this sense? Because these are incidents that happens. Why, when a black kills a black, we feel as like it's a justice, but we become so vibrant when white kills a black? Is it anything that is concerned about inferiority and psychological dilemma that black people we have?
I will join Mr. Maxence on this. I'll say just one word. And this will be called mindset. This is mindset. Sadiq has just told us about something that the media is preaching in India. And the very same thing is being preached around the world, especially in the Western, against black. But again, we black in Africa, we are preaching the same thing about white. With the opponent in Tanzania or in Africa. If you go to the Middle East, you see the same story that's happening between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Mindset. We have a problem of mindset. Mr. Maxence said here one thing, and that's very big. Discrimination or racism is something we can say is something is inborn. So it's only seen or discussed or talked about when it has got out of that person. We had problems in Tanzania, for instance. We know somebody like Mwangosi was killed in some way. We didn't see anybody in the street. People, they were just quiet, but he was killed by police. And with more people who are dying under police, in police hands. We have never heard anyone raising their voices. Not even those people who call themselves human rights people in Tanzania. They can write today and tomorrow they're quiet. They are only giving statements. And they finish. And now, to me, I was discussing to Mr. To Sadiq before. He used the word hypocrisy. This is a hypocrisy. We are tending to see what is happening in other people's nations, and we don't stick to what's happening into our own homes where we are. Everybody is racist by nature. Everybody. But the timing is when do you release this pressure? Look here. I'll give you an example. If I come from Europe today with probably a woman with me, girlfriend or wife, or two white guys with me, I'm landing at Dar es Salaam International Airport, JK Nyerere Airport. Out of the airport, probably I want to grab a taxi. A taxi driver will come to me and I'll say, I'll be very specific. I'm going probably to Mwenge, for those who knows the distance. And for those who know the distance, they know that the price from the airport to Mwenge normally is 50,000. That is almost 20 or 15 pounds. But because I'm with those two whites with me, the price will be probably from here to Mwenge is going to be 80,000. The price has doubled. How do you call that? What do you call that? That is racism. It's racism. It That's no different from those ones that we're seeing depriving the right of me going into a pub, depriving the right of me going into probably somewhere to socialize. And again, somebody talked to me about something. He said about the ignorance. Most of the people with this kind of mindset, they're ignorant. They got no education. They know nothing about the world. They only know their encircled world. If you travel from Delhi to another Indian city and stay there for 2, 3, 4 weeks, when you come back to Delhi, you have a different mindset about things that's happening outside Delhi. So for most of the people, even those people who seem killing people, some of them, or others, those who are uttering words like, why can't you go back to Africa? Why did you come here? Why do you do this? Why that? You're African, you're Indian, you are this. If you sit down and go back to the background, those are the people who don't travel outside their countries. They are stupid, dumb people. A traveler will tend to have an open mind. A traveler will learn how to accommodate one another. A very good educated person will always think about others. You have your ego, but you be ready to learn. You have your richness, but you be ready to see how the poor are living. Say, listen. So it is a mindset.
Thank you very much. Hang up a little bit, please, Mr. Giovan. You have talked a lot about mindset, but I have a doubt on top of mindset. And my doubt will be going directly to Maxence Melo. You'll be answering this question. We're talking about mindset and ignorance. Yes, I can agree with you on that sense. But when it comes that the racism is happening much more in the countries like United Kingdom, Sweden, United States, where the rate of ignorance is very low compared to African and Asian countries. What is your comment if we are talking about ignorance and happening in those countries whereby we say they are educated countries, enlightened countries? What is ignorance in this sense, according to you?
Okay, again, it's a mindset because it's not about this kind of school you go to. It's not about the country you're in. There's a good number of ignorant Americans, ignorant Chinese, even ignorant Africans. It's a mindset. It's not about the race you're in. Until people are well trained, it starts with the executive, the governments, if they happen to have a kind of training that they can help their people to adapt, like you can live with other people of any other race or someone of another nationality, not from your country. People do have this kind of, you may have this kind of education that we may have. For example, you have been educated, you have been in India, and our sister from Zambia said that when she experienced this kind of hate or racism when she was in India, she felt like once she's back to Zambia, she could do the same to the Indians, but she had to change the mindset. So it's still a mindset. It's not about the race. It's not about the kind of education you have. It's a mindset.
Thank you very much, Mr. Melo. Again, to you, Mr. Melo, if you are given an opportunity today to give the solutions that will eliminate racism, what would you like to suggest?
One, I think it's high time that it should be one of the UN agendas on ending this kind of racism. It's among the global goals, but it should be something that we should deal with seriously from 2020 to 2025. I believe if the UN at large takes this as a serious matter, I believe in the next 5 years, things can change. It's not about me, it's about the UN at large.
Thank you very much. Now to you, Ms. Jennifer from Zambia. Do you have any solution you can suggest to end racism in the world?
I think personally, racism is affecting uh, each and every race that is a victim of it very much. And the way we can change this racism, I think it's by educating each and every person to say there's no one who is inferior, there's no one who is above the other. We are all equal. And we can achieve this by using media and passing information to the people so that the world can know. The world can look at Africans also to be human beings. We also matter. We are just like any other person. There's nothing that's different about us or about white. We are all people. You know? So if we can use media in other ways or channels of communication to communicate to the world, to say that Africans are also human beings, and there's nothing that is so special about white than Africans. I think this can help us a lot in fighting racism.
Thank you very much to you, Mr. Giovanni from United Kingdom. As we have seen, most of Africans who are black are moving to United Kingdom or to US, maybe to look for maybe better life. And when they reach there, because they don't have jobs, some of them, they go into bad activities. What do you comment on this? What should we do as Africans to eliminate or to reduce the number of people who are going to those countries, and when they are there, they don't have job, what they do, maybe the bad things, what can lead to reshape that black people are always violent? What is your comment on that?
Number one, Mr. Maxence has talked about the UN, but I think we should begin things from home. I think we should be talking about equality more often, and the equality can be told more often to our families. You are a man of the family, you are the father of the family, you know what's happening in the world, you are going down, your children are going up. We should be teaching them about the equality, love, equality, and the love. That's number one. Number two, the world economy. Each country should work very hard to build the economy of their countries, and they should make sure that the economy at least is saving all in those countries, especially in Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Giovanni. We have only 20 minutes to complete our session and to give other people the platform to give their views. Now we're going to Advocate Alphonse Nachipiano. What are effects of racism on legal aspects?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manda.
Yes.
Yeah, the effect of racism in legal perspective is hard, or we can explain it in a lot of terms. So far as it is well explained by a fellow contributor that racism is not it's a self problem. It's the way every person is feeling on something which he or she wants. So far as I've been through different laws in different countries, their constitutions, almost each country which I've passing through to see what their laws covering about the the issues of racism. I found that everyone covered the issue. It is legal. It is not allowed, but people still practicing. It could be in Africa, it could be in Asia, or it could be in any other country. So far as the law not allow people to practice racism, but still people doing the same. It is the same as other problems, as for example, it is the same as theft practices or rape practices. They all not allowed by law, but people are still practicing. So the problem, I can say, is one self problem. Every person has the problem is the self only.
Thank you very much, Advocate Alphonse Teofil Nachipiangu from Tanzania. Now, coming back to Dr. Shahid. As we have discussed, everyone has given the views, and we are coming to conclude and agree with each other that the big issue is mindset. So how can we structure this mindset so that it can be a proper medicine to cure racism in the world? How are we going to restructure the community to structure and to make sure that the mindset of racism is eliminated, in the sense that some of people are saying in the attitude of someone. And Advocate Nachipiangu has addressed it to us very recently that everyone is selfish. So if we see racism is a part of selfishness that everyone has born with, how are we going to solve this?
So definitely, this is a very core part of the life that we are living in, and it is completely driven by the marketing world. You know what the marketing world is, that to show what it is not. To show something else, to sell your product. So we are driven by those things, and since many generations, this is to create this kind of thing, that to earn, their own interest. So that is the one. So solution is only that. Let's start with our own, for ourselves, that we think that yes, we are a human being. We don't discriminate. We don't talk, which is which is connected to the racism, which gives this kind of message which hate each other or something like that. So it will begin from the household, from the beginning, like parents, they start talking about giving, not only about taking ourselves. So giving, that feeling of and the habit of givingness, that should be integrated in the childhood itself. That yes, sharing and caring, giving, whatever extra you have, something. So this kind of in nature, nowadays even in school you don't find moral science and other teachings that what we had in our childhood. So these kind of teachings, it has to come up from the very childhood, from the parents, from the school teachers. So this will only the mindset. Otherwise, this is the marketing world. They want very quick success and they want quick profit out of it, and they don't bother about the society, where the society is going to end. At the end, what they are going to suffer. We are witness to that. So this is first thing that start from our own. Second thing, that create more awareness about the other part of the world.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahid. I'm coming back to Advocate Nachipiangu. When we will say that this death or this killing is due to racism, it has happened, the incident in the United States, that white has killed black. But it has happened also in Tanzania. Aquilina has been killed, and also Mwangosi. In legal aspects, how do you sure that these killings is due to racism? Is it not possible that a black person can kill another black person because of race?
Thank you, Mr. Manfred. I think people they are not catching it proper when they are addressing the issue of racism. Racism, you cannot say the issue, for example, of Mr. Mwangosi or the issue of Aquilina. That was not a racial actions.
Yeah.
Anything happened at the time of Mr. Mwangosi. It is not. It is not an event happened due to, what can I say? It is not a racial effect. The situation is very different from what we are discussing. The racism race, as we know, that, for example, people of very different origin, for example, an Asian, maybe he could kill an African, or an American could kill an Asian something like that. But issue of Wakulin or the issue of Mwangosi is not a ratio.
On that, what according to your example, you made two different nations, but George Floyd is an American, has been killed by an American police. So I think it doesn't make sense if we say racism should be between two different countries or citizens. Those are two citizens from there. So when you stop there to make sense, Mero, how do we sure that this killing is due to racism? Why we don't assume that George Floyd has been killed as normal as it could be happening a white police to kill a white man in the United States? How do we know this is a racism? Sure.
I think it's not the first time that someone has been killed in the US by the police. I think, as for me, until it's proven otherwise, I still believe this is still a kind of police brutality and not racism. But I still believe several white people have been killed in the US by the police. And I don't think they did such kinds of killings because they were white or black. So when, for example, there was a case in India when a lady was attacked. I think it was India, if I'm not mistaken. And they were attacked because they were black. And I think she got killed. She got killed. If not a lady, then it's a guy 2 years ago. So such kinds of killings, when someone is being attacked, like you're taking our jobs. I can take the South African kind of example. When the South Africans were attacking the foreigners, like you're taking our jobs and such stuff, I will automatically tell you, like, this kind of killings, it's about racism. But when it's something to do with the police, as for me, I still believe it's police brutality.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mel. According to you, what is happening in the United Kingdom, United States? I love United Kingdom. I don't know why. It's not racism, just is a police brutality. There's a Mr.
No. Yeah. Please get it right. It's not like it's a conclusion, but I believe personally, like, there is this kind of police brutality. But because if someone was black, then yes.